Battery analysts around the world have been noticing one very important thing that I think a lot of people are not. Lithium prices are going up. Lithium prices are increasing, and that's putting pressure on manufacturers in China to and continue to discount their batteries, which they are. I mean, last year, the cost of energy storage declined by 42%. Most people still believe, though, that lithium batteries are the permanent foundation of the electric vehicle revolution. Most do. I'd say at least 95%. But inside China's battery industry, something far more interesting is now happening. The world's largest cell manufacturers are actively fast-tracking sodium-ion batteries, not as a science experiment, not as a lab curiosity, but as a commercial product aimed at real vehicles, real volumes, and real price segments. And the reason is very simple. Lithium prices are rising again. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. Great to have you with us. If you're looking at getting a home battery, guys, I have a home battery and I have solar. If you're looking at doing that here in Australia, I'll put a link in the description to a comparison website where you can pick and basically figure out the best solution for yourself. If you're in the US, well, you should do it, but it's a lot more expensive in the United States. Lithium prices are rising. In early 2026, lithium carbonate prices in China pushed past 150,000 RMB per ton, and in some transactions exceeded 170,000, roughly 21 to 24,000 US dollars per ton. That matters enormously because at the low end of the EV market, margins are already razor thin. Many manufacturers don't make a profit selling electric cars. Most entry-level EVs rely on lithium iron phosphate. Lithium iron phosphate chemistry is cheap, it's safe, it's durable, but it's still dependent on lithium. I mean, a crap ton of lithium. And China's battery giants are now accelerating something they have quietly been developing for years. And I've been tracking this progress on the channel. I've done numerous videos on this. Some people said it was a myth. You'll find, in fact, hundreds of people said that, maybe even thousands, said that I was making it up, that sodium-ion batteries wouldn't revolutionize the world. But turns out those people were not the engineering geniuses they thought they were. That were simply armchair experts who are what I like to call pessimists. Now, pessimists believe nothing is changing. Don't worry, everything will stay the same. But pessimists are rarely correct. Let's walk through what's actually happening, why it matters, and what sodium ion realistically can and cannot replace. So why sodium? Well, from a chemistry standpoint, sodium ion batteries look very similar to lithium ion batteries. Same general architecture, same intercalation concept, same type of manufacturing equipment in many cases, but sodium is vastly more abundant. Roughly speaking, there is about 400 times more sodium in the Earth's crust than lithium, 400 times more. And it's easier to mine. Lithium supply is geographically concentrated, mainly South America and Australia. Sodium exists, well, pretty much everywhere, which means, well, lower geopolitical risk, less supply chain vulnerability, and long-term, more stable raw material pricing. For manufacturers trying to sell EVs in the $10,000 to $20,000 price bracket, I'm talking US dollars here, this matters far more than energy density records. And this is why CATL and BYD, the two biggest battery manufacturers in the world by a wide margin, are pivoting to sodium batteries. What's the trigger? Well, the trigger is probably more than anything lithium inflation. When lithium prices collapse, sodium ion enthusiasm cools. When lithium prices surge, sodium ion development suddenly accelerates. At least that's what the analysts are telling us. That may or may not be true. But right now, that pattern appears to be repeating. Higher lithium prices directly raise battery pack costs. Pack cost increases either reduce automaker margins, force higher vehicle prices, force companies sometimes to be putting themselves in a very dangerous position where they are really hoping they can continue to borrow more money. All of these outcomes hurt sales. So battery manufacturers are hedging, not by abandoning lithium. They're not abandoning it. They are simply building an alternative track alongside it. So what are China's auto giants doing? Well, the biggest signal is coming from CATL, the world's largest battery company. CATL has already launched a sodium-ion battery for light commercial vehicles and EVs and trucks. It's launched, in fact, 6 different versions of its next generation sodium-ion batteries. Importantly, they have publicly stated that passenger car deployment is happening right now and en masse in Q2 this year, within a few months. The first reported model to receive this battery or the sodium-ion batteries from CATL is the Aeon Y Plus. You can buy Aeon cars here in Australia and in many markets around the world. In fact, their parent company GAC makes Toyota's EVs for them. This means this is not a concept, far from it. It's a production program. Meanwhile, BYD has commissioned a 30 gigawatt hour sodium-ion battery production line. This is not pilot scale, this is factory scale. Eve Energy has launched a 1 billion RMB sodium-ion project. Ronbay Technology is converting portions of its lithium materials production to sodium-ion materials. And globally, sodium-ion shipments in 2025 actually hit 9 gigawatt hours. Now, if you were to listen to some of these YouTubers, that never happened. 9 gigawatt hours, though, my friends, is quite a lot of batteries. And that's an increase of 150% year over year. Those numbers are, of course, very small, though, compared to lithium. But growth rate does matter. Every major battery chemistry that later dominates starts exactly the same way. Performance. This is where sodium-ion batteries actually shine. Sodium-ion batteries, they're not magic. They do have some very real advantages, though. One of those advantages was probably highlighted by the test that's gone viral, probably the last week, I'd say, that was performed in Norway, where 24 different electric cars were tested until they died in very cold temperatures. And most of them lost about 40% of their battery capacity. Some sodium-ion cells retain over 90% capacity at minus 30 degrees Celsius. Typical lithium-ion cells will lose far more of their battery energy at the same temperature. In fact, on average, 3 to 4 times more. Now, this matters for places like northern China, Scandinavia, Canada, northern US states, pretty much anywhere it's very cold or can get very cold. Cold weather EV performance is still a pain point. Sodium-ion helps this enormously. In fact, it gets rid of that pain point completely. The second is cost potential. Material costs for sodium-ion cells are estimated to be 30 to 40% lower than lithium equivalents. That's not the pack cost, that's not vehicle cost, that's material cost. As production scales, a meaningful fraction of that reduction will flow through to the packs. And in fact, the costs will be, according to CATL, half the price of lithium iron phosphate. Third, safety and stability. Sodium-ion generally shows good thermal stability and lower runaway tendencies than high nickel lithium chemistries. That's attractive for cheap cars, fleet vehicles, buses, and for stationary storage. Now, where does sodium-ion fall short? Well, energy density, at least when you compare them to the best lithium iron phosphate batteries and to NMC batteries. Current sodium-ion cells sit roughly between 100 to 175 watt hours per kilogram. CATL's batteries that are going into cars are at 175, which is comparable to the BYD's Blade battery. But lithium iron phosphate batteries now, the better ones, get up to 210 watt hours per kilogram. NMC batteries hit around 240 to 300 watt hours per kilogram. So this means you cannot build a long-range electric car on sodium-ion without making it quite heavy, as in very heavy. If you'd like to book a paid consultation, you can do so, and I'll put a link in the description below. If you want advice on what electric car to buy, solar systems, all that kind of stuff, you can do that. So sodium-ion batteries probably won't be used in very long-range EVs. In that case, physics wins, at least for the time being, until we have higher energy density sodium batteries, which are coming. So sodium-ion is not a Tesla Model Y replacement chemistry for the long-range version, but would it be for the standard range version, which uses LFP batteries? Absolutely. And if you think about it, Tesla would be really smart to use them, seeing as how many Teslas are sold in cold climates. And the fact that the Naxtra battery lasts twice as long as lithium iron phosphate. In fact, it has nearly 3 times the lifespan of LFP. And did I say it's cheaper? It's cheaper. Now, what is the real strategy though? China is not trying to necessarily replace lithium, at least not yet. China is segregating the market by chemistry. Think of it kind of like this. Sodium ion, city cars, micro EVs, cheap crossovers, commercial vans, stationary storage, the lower range versions of a certain model. LFP, more mainstream EVs, ternary lithium, performance, premium, long-range vehicles. Now, I believe ternary lithium batteries, as in NMC batteries, will probably cease to exist eventually and be replaced by solid state, but I'll do another video on that. Each chemistry, though, does what it's best at. This lowers overall system risk. It also weakens lithium's pricing power. This will put more pressure on the cost of lithium batteries. And that's extremely important. If lithium miners raise prices too aggressively, automakers now have an alternative lever. That changes negotiation dynamics, literally forever. So some experts saying the cost of lithium batteries is going to rise. Well, they're not factoring in what I just mentioned. Now, why does this matter outside of China? It does. Most Western automakers still operate as if lithium supply will always be sufficient and affordable. China doesn't think that way. China assumes volatility is permanent. Materials are strategic. Redundancy is mandatory. By industrializing sodium ion early, China gains a pretty big advantage. Manufacturing experience, IP advantages, supply chain lock-in, and cost leadership. When Western manufacturers eventually decide that they want sodium ion, which they will, they're going to discover that China already owns most of the ecosystem and is probably 10 years ahead of them. This is the same pattern we saw with lithium iron phosphate batteries, which have now taken over most of the market in China and replaced NMC. 10 years ago, LFP was considered inferior. Many analysts, I remember reading their comments many times, said LFP batteries would never take off in EVs because they were didn't have the energy density and they were too heavy. Today, though, they dominate global EV ventures. What's going to happen in 2026? What is the most likely outcome here? Well, 2026 is shaping up as the commercial breakout year for sodium. It's not going to be dominance this year, not mass replacement this year, but visible deployment. Real cars, real customers, real performance data. Once that happens, adoption curves tend to accelerate very quickly, particularly if the price of something is a lot lower than the price of the alternative. And because automakers care far more about this, does it work in production, than how elegant is the chemistry. Is it cheaper? Does it last longer? That's pretty important to car manufacturers. So here are my final thoughts. This is not about sodium necessarily beating lithium. It will be, but it's not yet. It's about battery pluralism. Multiple chemistries, multiple supply chains, multiple price tiers. China is building a battery ecosystem that does not depend on a single material. It doesn't depend on a single country's output of lithium. That is strategic maturity, and actually it's pretty intelligent. It's quietly going to increase China's resilience in the EV transition and probably their power as well. If you're watching global battery trends and still only tracking lithium, you're already one cycle behind. Guys, if you want to install solar panels, a home battery, or a home charger, the best way to do this for your situation is to go to the links in the description below, and they'll take you to a page where you can compare everyone. So depending on it doesn't matter where you live. A lot of people email me all the time saying, well, what solar system should I get? Who should I go with? What battery should I get? What electric charger should I get? Well, click in the links in the description and you can actually compare all the different choices and find the best deal for you. I'll put that link in the description below. Additionally, there is a battery savings calculator link and also a federal battery rebate calculator. I personally have found that I'm not paying for electricity at all, and that's including charging my 2 electric cars and also running my home power, my home sauna. Nothing, not paying anything at all. And I think a lot of people are getting misled. They think that getting a battery is not worth it. Actually, I think it is worth it. So those links are in the description below.